you're using this code as your reasoning behind revocation of election. You're only looking at this and you're not looking for what it says. Okay. You can see the same things I'm seeing. Okay. Election for special treatment in general. Two individuals. Who does this apply to? Two individuals. A wife. It means who are a husband and wife at the close of a taxable year ending on or after December 31st, 1975. Right, may make an election under this section for the taxable year if, at the close of that year, one spouse is a citizen or resident of the United States and the other spouse is a non resident alien. What you're not doing, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, you see where it's got it highlighted there? Section 61, 6012, 6013, 6072, 6091. And you go down here and it tells you the particular rules as used in paragraph A3 of this section. The term U.S. spouse means any married individual who is a citizen or resident of the United States at any time during a taxable year. And it says an individual's residence is determined by application of the principles. How many times do I talk about principles that are in 301 7701B 1 through 301 77B 9 of this chapter relating to what constitutes residence in the United States by an alien individual? You're not looking at this stuff, and that's the problem. And they give you an example of how to use it. According to what this says, it has to do with a married couple, not for a single person, and it has nothing to do with a revocation of election. It has to do with an election to be treated as something. Even the title doesn't say revocation of election. Election to treat non-resident alien individual as a resident of the United States. Okay? So, just an observation there. Now, let's go to the next thing. Now, the reason why I go to this is going to give you the scope and meaning of what a definition is of a resident alien. Okay? Scope and basically application. Look right here. This definition. Very important. For the purposes of section 7701B, that would mean what? B, B-1 through B-9. And the regulations there under the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes the states. See how they wrote that in lowercase? And the District of Columbia. And also includes the territorial waters of the United States and the seabed and subsoil of those submarine areas which are adjacent to the territorial waters, etc., etc. See, the good thing about Cornell, you can look up what the definition is. For purposes of subchapter E and the regulations thereunder, the term state shall include the District of Columbia, but shall not include the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico and any possession of the United States. So include is a special term. See, you've got that thing include. That means there's other things it applies to too. See, you got certain phrases you're not paying attention to. And I would presume that you know this stuff. You have include, you have including, but not limited to. Okay. These are certain legal terms that have a specific use and meaning. Including, but not limited to means there also is other things. So that means the term state shall include the District of Columbia. So what else does it apply to? Well, according to this, it's all 50 states. You got this whole thing on part two. Non-resident alien individuals, treatment of expatriations in general. Every non-resident alien individual to whom this section applies and who within the 10-year period immediately preceding the close of the taxable year, but you can go on and read it yourself. Individuals subject to this section. The net worth of individuals. Non-resident alien alternative tax. Okay, go read it. This is why I'm telling you the revocation of election isn't right. Tried to get you to come talk to me because why? There's certain things you don't put out in the public. But I can also tell you what we know works. Oh, we just went over 7701B. What does it say right there? Substantial contacts. An individual shall be treated as having no substantial contacts with the United States only if the individual was never a resident of the United States as defined in 7701B. Has never held a United States passport. Everybody's running around going to try to go get a passport. Was not present in the United States for more than 30 days during any calendar year, which is one of the 10 calendar years. But you go on, you can read this yourself. And again, we go back to this. You put that in the comment. How much of the rest of this section in subchapter A have you read? And not only that, if you read this section, it's really easy to understand when it applies. You're making a presumption because you're seeing what you want to see. Just like you said earlier about that people run around saying they're the beneficiary of the trust. You're not the beneficiary of the trust. You can become a beneficiary, but you're not the beneficiary. Congress was the creator of the trust, but everybody runs around saying they're the grantor. You're not the grantor. And you're definitely not the beneficiary. Now, you can become a limited beneficiary. I've put out videos on that when you meet the requirements like disability, SSI, stuff like that. But, you know, you're listening to the wrong people, Joe. I say, hey, let's talk, but you won't talk. All W-2s, all W-4s, all 1099s are what? Class 5 gift and estate. Why is it a gift and estate? Because a trust is an estate, or can be. So you're supposedly revoking the election on the W-4 or maybe W-9. A W-9 isn't even a class form. It's just a request for taxpayer identification and certificate. That's all that is. That's not even doing an election. Now look at this right here, right out of the Internal Revenue Manual. Right here. Tax class explanations. Tax class 1, that's FICA. Tax class 2, individual income. Tax class 3, corporate income. Tax class 4, excise. Tax class 5, estate and gift. Tax class 6, non-master file. Tax class 7, railroad retirement. Tax class 8, federal unemployment tax. I don't say this stuff lightly. I don't.